Hey folks, it's Roy from Geeks Adventures. What's up? I debated doing this about Tony Bourdain because, well, everyone's doing it. So, it seems rather redundant. Um, how many more dedications and tweets and Facebook and all that stuff can you do? On the flip side, it's kind of my job as a vlogger. Vlogger, is that actually a word? Um, and keep remembering, talk about crossing streams. And yes, I'm doing a food thing on my sci-fi fantasy geek vlog. Well, I'm a food geek. Been a food geek as long as I have been a geek about sci-fi stuff and robots and everything else. So hey, but anyway, I should warn you, this is going to meander all over the place, and I'm hoping I don't like burst into tears. So just in case I have, yeah. So my apologies if I turn into a sobbing mess at some point. But then again, I've only got like 14 minutes of time, so hey. But as we really cross streams, as my favorite artist Bruce Springsteen would say, that our job and one of the many jobs as an artist, and I do mean small a, not tall a. I don't get paid for this, so unfortunately, I don't get to use the tall A quite yet. And my work, I've got like 33. I got 33 subscribers on YouTube, which yay, got subscribers, but and it's not like I have 10,000, so it's little A, not this big A. But as an artist, as a creator, a maker, fabricator, whatever you want to call it, you would talk about your job is to bear witness, and a moment like this, it is important. Um, I jumped on the Bourdain wagon late. Well, not super late. I didn't do it when Kitchen Confidential came out, which is everyone went, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" I did it with the Cook's Tour. Popping it on Food Network and going, "This is pretty funny. This is cool." And from there, hooked big time. Um, so I've seen how his work has changed, um, and how much, it's funny because, you talk about, how Bourdain's legendary reputation is style being this snarky little New Yorker, right? Something you want to punch in the face. I think, unfortunately, from someone I talked to was a Hawaii food blog. Yeah, when he went to Oahu for, I think it was no reservations. All these guys get to talking, and one of the guys who was on the show said he's nowhere near as snarky in person as he is on the show. Um, and then I get the impression that one of the reasons he cultivated that, one, it's part of who he is, obviously. Number two, I think as things develop, move forward, the realization that sometimes we kind of over deify what's there. The fine line between reverence and y'all need to lighten the hell up, okay? And which is where a guy that is very, very, very self-deprecating like him comes in. Um, it's interesting being from the American food culture is kind of screwed up, not because of the diverse influences, from all over the world. The way, but the fact that the planet, on most cultures, food is seen as being kind of sacred. It's that. Yeah, yeah, now we're really crossing streams. Remember that scene from Temple of Doom when they're getting that really crappy ass looking meal from that really dirt poor village, and Indy's like, "You eat the damn meal," and the reason that's important. Food's important. Sharing is important. The fact that these dirt poor people that are starving to death give what little they have to a bunch of noble people, they have no freaking clue who these people are. That is an important symbol. And it's something I think we forget in this country. We're so caught up in a food culture of, oh my god, avocados, the food culture, or eating at restaurants where things are made into towers, or oh my god, these things are gonna kill you if you eat too much of it, and all this other bull crap that goes on. We forget how important food is in terms of binding people together. Um, how breaking bread is a unifying thing across most of the planet. It's not a trendy thing you watch on Food Network. It can be, and everyone gives into that, but that's not the only thing. That's not where it got started. The idea of sharing around an open fire, sharing your meal, that goes back in millions of years, if you will. That's where communities got started because you shared your resources, you shared what little you had, and from there, everything grows from there. Um, and the fact that Tony Bourdain remembered that and held on to that so strongly. It was interesting because I'm watching the. I've got the episode from No Reservations from where he went to Hawaii, and at that point he was still doing the traveloggy thing, and I think part of him was going, "Oh God." And it's a fun episode to watch, but it's kind of typical. You go here and there. There are the little bits. Every once in a while, you see it peaking a little bit in No Reservations and in A Cook's Tour, where you realize that it's not just about today we're going to go to this fancy schmancy restaurant. Oh, no, screw that crap. The best moments in any Bourdain episode is when he goes to a food, the food vendor that's on the corner. The little kind of nasty looking place that you wouldn't think of going, where he goes and he's just noshing like crazy. And the fun part is the locals looking like, dude likes it. Bring him more of the good stuff. Come on, bring. Um, the idea of community that he really wanted to bring in. I think when he went to CNN, it was probably the best thing. No, it was obviously the best thing. Not exactly the best thing, all things considered. Um, it's really hard sometimes. And I was posting on Facebook that I had to remember to say "was" about him. That frickin' sucked. Um, the fact that he at CNN was probably the best medium for him because, and like I said, self-deprecating guy. So he knew he wasn't a journalist, but he also knew that what he wanted to talk about wasn't just to do restaurant reviews. Like, no, screw that crap. Yeah, the mission. He was skilled enough in his trade that he knew what good food was. He knew all these things in his encyclopedic mind that could track all these things. But also though the word empathy has been used a lot lately about what he was. And the thing is, sorry, I got to bring this back to where the Hawaii thing got started. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is going to meander all over the dang place. Okay, I usually have an outline of how these things are going to go. Because the danger in my mind was, oh great, I'm going to sound like I'm just going over bibliography of here. This is what you should read if you like Anthony Bourdain, which is not the point of this damn thing. Catharsis. I don't know. But yeah, when in the newer episode from Parts Unknown, which a buddy of mine posted on Facebook, it's he's still talking about the food, which he enjoys, but it was about Hawaii for real, the struggles that people go through, all the different things that you don't get from the usual travel log, the sovereignty of Hawaii, the whole this cool lesson about the Hokulea, proof that Native Hawaiians were the best dang sailors on the planet. Yes, I said that. They navigated the Pacific via the stars, wave action, and a whole lot of other amazing techniques and concepts. Yeah, they traveled across this giant blank ocean like that. Is that freaking awesome or what? Meanwhile, Columbus is going, "Hey, I found India!" Jackass. But anyway, that's another story entirely. Um, but just to see him capture all that is a magnificent thing. he real cooks will tell you food is about memory, and which is actually probably what your mom, your grandmother, great grandmother, all your uncle, your grandfather, all these influences will tell you that food is memory, that it's meant to draw us together, adds impact to who we are, and that's one of the things he tried to emphasize all these years. Two things kind of come to mind when it comes to empathy, where unfortunately the yin and yang, which turns out is what part of what Tony Bourdain was. If you go to no reservations, they went to Beirut, and they were looking forward to having this kind of celebratory episode because there'd been peace for a while, yada yada yada. While they were there is when Hamas decided to kidnap an Israeli soldier, and all hell broke loose. And yeah, during that period, and there's of course the filmed footage they've got, the regular footage they got, and then they filmed like this narrative piece later, that kind of acted as a bridge between the scenes they had, and the despair in his face because there's this great scene. They managed to get out, obviously, and they managed to find this really nice hotel to stay safe at. And they're on this hill, and in the meantime Beirut's being leveled, and you can see the despair in his face as he's talking about this, because he's like, we're safe, and they're losing everything. Yeah, it kind of sucks that we're trying to escape and all this other stuff, but that doesn't mean anything. On the flip side, there was an episode about Colombia, also from No Reservations. It's kind of the polar opposite, where it's in Colombia, and all of a sudden you see this culture, this city rising up, transformed after so many years of that Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. Most of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but from anyone who's Gen X or and older, like, oh my God, that's right. Yeah, the Medellin cartels, all of that stuff, the giant drug war from Hades, and to see that city grow and the smile on his face, um, seeing people rise and transform, and that joy. And that's you see all these posts on Twitter, on all over the place. So many people talking about how the most amazing thing he did was opening up the world to them, and that's what he did the best. Um, he always joked about he was just some kind of hack cook. Bless him, he may have been just a hack cook, but what he did was to transform the way we looked at the world. And that's pretty freaking cool, and that's a huge loss for us. Um, but I guess another way to look at it too is the fact that at least we had that opportunity to see the world through his eyes, and hopefully have that pass on to us, and for us to pass it on to others. Yo, in the end, that's all we got, right? Oh. Anyway, I gotta go because I'm running out of time. So the most, may the force be with you and all that other stuff. But really, really importantly, let's be good to each other, all right, peeps? Y'all take care. Peace. Bye.